My last two videos had bad audio on and I've now replaced them, but I couldn't tell, but other people could. And here's an example of the audio playing on my iPhone.
What happens when a project sells out is the people who missed it buy some.
And this phone, Android. Weird, right? It's the same video, but two different phones, one with the voice and one without the voice. I figured that if I had this problem, then somebody else might have the problem too, and this video might help them. So this is what's going on and how I solved it, the short version. When my voice is playing in stereo, it's absolutely fine, but when it's playing in mono, then it just completely disappears, and we'll look at that more in the long version. The problem is, I think, that the signal in one of the channels is getting reversed, and when you have that reversed and they play together, much like these two sine waves, put together they cancel each other out. My problem was that the mic wasn't plugged all the way in, but I didn't realise because the audio meters on everything, they looked the same and everything sounded the same through the speakers to me. And I'm sure similar things can happen for other people in various dodgy connection ways. Meaning it wasn't a setting in the software or the camera itself that was messing everything up. It was my original audio file that was screwed. And the solution, for me anyway, was to throw away the right channel and then copy the left channel over the top of it, so that they both sound exactly the same, essentially making the whole thing mono. I'm sure there's some clever software way to reverse the signals, but this seemed the easiest to do, and then I just re-uploaded the videos. It's fair to say I spent a lot of time going, what the f***? The trouble was that I didn't know there was a problem with the audio until people in the comments started mentioning it. So what my studio setup is I have a lav mic here that's connected to a wireless Go that's then connected to my A camera over here. I also have a B camera over here which I can use in case I mess things up, and then I can cut away to here. And then I also have, let me just grab this, and then up here pointing downwards I got my C camera that's pointing down to here. That may seem like a lot of setup, and so I'm taking this very seriously, but there's a reason for it. Over in here, when I'm doing these pen plots, I'll put the A camera in here to be a slider. I'll take that overhead camera and put it over the top, so I can do time lapses with this, and then I'll hand hold my other camera so I can come in and do these type of shots. So that's what it's mainly for. Because my pen plots are often unique, I've only got one shot of being able to do a time lapse from above and the side and handheld. So that's why having more cameras saves me a lot of time, because then I don't need to redo things that I often couldn't redo anyway. The reason for using the lav mic rather than a shotgun mic is that if I use this, the audio is generally the same if I'm at the table, if I'm walking around the studio, or if I'm outside, and that makes it easier to cut together. So this is what it looks like when I have the mic plugged in. You can see both of the stereo inputs are moving up and down. And this is what it looks like when it's not properly plugged in. And this is what it looks like in Final Cut Pro. And this is what it sounds like. Authenticity, certificate of ownership. The NFT is the certificate. It all appears to be working. If one channel wasn't working when it wasn't properly plugged in, I'll be able to see that. So to me, it seemed like it was all working and sounding absolutely fine. But that's not what the commenters are telling me. I ended up testing it on my MacBook, my iMac, a Mac Mini, my PC down there, all sorts of headphones, and I couldn't figure it out. People were telling me it was wrong for them, but I couldn't hear it. So I pulled in an expert, my friend Laura, who has years and years of experience with audio equipment and making videos. Thank you very much, Laura.
Bye.
Laura did some investigation and discovered that it didn't work on her phone, unearthing the fact that it was a mono versus stereo problem. I went out and I grabbed the same phone model to give me a way of testing the audio, and I needed one anyway so I can test that my generative art projects works on all sorts of different hardware, and an Android device was one that I'd been missing for far too long. Having confirmed there was indeed a problem, and not running around being so confused by the whole thing allowed me to take a step back through the process to troubleshoot properly and hear when it was working and hear when things weren't working. YouTube on this wasn't working. The exported file before uploading it to YouTube, not working, so it wasn't the uploading process. The whole edit in Final Cut Pro was not working. Also, the source file I originally took, that wasn't working either. So it wasn't anything to do with my process. It was either the camera I was using or the Rode microphone or the lav mic. Luckily, because I have like two cameras the same, I knew I could test one and see if it worked on that one but not on the other one. And I could also plug the lav mic in directly into them both to check that the lav mic. However, it's at that point of just about to plug them all in to test them all that I noticed the jack wasn't fully into the socket, and because I have the device and also some software called Loopback, I could confirm and recreate the problem over and over again just by popping it out a little bit. It was something so simple and yet so unnoticeable to me through my workflow that I've now added a new entry, check the microphone is plugged in properly, to my pre-video checklist. I'm guessing it's possible that there's other people out there with the same problem and they don't even realise it, where the music is playing but the voice is dropping out. It's kind of like the world's worst YouTube magic trick where some people get to hear you and other people don't. Anyway, this is a bit of an odd video for me. I thought it might be useful for other people out there, but it also explains to the subscribers why you've seen my last two videos just get re-uploaded with hopefully fixed audio. Thank you to all the commenters on YouTube and on Slack and on Twitter who let me know we can't hear your audio. I totally hear you, although I didn't hear the audio. And thank you also to Laura who helped me troubleshoot the stereo mono thing. I don't think I would have got to the bottom of it quite so quickly without everybody's help. So, don't subscribe to me, subscribe to Laura, and I will see you in the next video.